Guys, welcome back to Gamechefs. All the news you can use. And I know we've been out of touch. We've done some box opening videos in the last couple weeks during the holidays. And we've been doing a lot of posting, of course, on the website. Don't forget to visit us, gamechefs.net. Today, I just want to try to cut the video size down. We did have a problem with YouTube on our video size, so last week's video is going to have to be re-edited because it went too long. Something about over 40 minutes, which I think is pretty long too, so I've just got to learn to talk less. So today, I want to go over some news, and we'll start video news in the movie and video industry. I think all of you have seen the numbers from Aquaman. Definitely looks like that's going to be a huge winner for them. Finally, DC has a property that's going to move forward, which is really nice. I did see the movie. It was really interesting. I like the visual effects. I like the special effects. It's hard to know going into that movie how they were going to handle the underwater scenes. And I think they did it right. I really do. So I recommend the movie. I thought it was a good movie. It was an enjoyable movie. Not in my top 10, for sure. But it was definitely a good movie. I had a couple questions asking me to rate it compared to other movies. I think Wonder Woman was a better movie. Plotline, story, visuals. I think Wonder Woman was a little more fun, but I did enjoy Aquaman, and I will highly recommend it. Next set of news, if you're watching this today, don't forget that Netflix is dropping Punisher today. So if you're a Punisher fan and you have access to Netflix by using your brother's, sister's, cousin's, father's account, then by all means, log into Netflix and you'll get to see the Punisher. I'm looking forward to that. Have not started it. We have a huge snowstorm coming. We had a little snow yesterday. A huge snowstorm coming this weekend. Looks like a perfect time to binge some Punisher. So we will see. So don't forget Punisher dropping. Next, let's talk a little bit about the regular news. Going off into the video game industry really quick. I'm sure some of you saw my press release, or news release, I'm sorry, not really a press release, a news release on Bungie splitting from Activision. And while that's probably not new news, if you've been following them, there has been some contention with the companies. But if you are following them, what is really interesting is they're taking Destiny and the Destiny properties with them. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. That split is definitely up since they're holding the Destiny properties. We're wondering, there has been some talks behind the scenes of taking Destiny into other formats, which Activision did not want to do. Again, this is all, I would put this as 50-50 whether this information is correct. I'm not sure I trust 100% the source, but in the long run, they're looking at possibly taking Destiny into different directions. I do not know if they're talking about mobile. I don't know if they're talking about MMO. Somebody asked about an open world MMO for Destiny. I do not know, and we are missing a huge MMO market on consoles as far as sci-fi universe goes. So I think that that could be interesting. All speculation. I don't know. So we'll see. But I just wanted to bring up that if you didn't know, you can find the news on our website. So feel free to go there. While we're on company news, we'll go back to tabletop real quick here. Modiphius. I think you guys are familiar with Modiphius that are in the minis game area. Modiphius is hiring. So those of you that are wanting to break into the video game market, they're besides hiring what they call junior game developers, they're also hiring a marketing manager. So for those of you with some marketing skills, which is anybody but me, I would suggest sending a resume over, see what they have to say. So Modiphius is hiring if you guys are interested, so definitely something to look into. On the more miniatures line, tabletop gaming, which we're kind of, we're not exclusive to in any way, but we're partial to. Battlefront. Battlefront has released some more helicopters. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Gale Force 9 game tanks. So this is the World War II tanks. Comes with cards. The models are inside. These are 15 millimeter, sort of like your Flames of War. In fact, most of the tanks are very similar. But Battlefront is releasing helicopters for their modern version of tanks, and a lot of people are looking forward to that. I've seen a lot of talk about how they enjoy the fast pace of the game for something like a convention circuit. For something like a quick evening, you sit down at 7 o'clock, play till 8 o'clock. They enjoy tanks, but with the modern game, I see a lot of talks of converting this to grid base. They can play a little larger scale games, a little less throwing tokens and activations and stuff out. A little easier to keep track of. Not sure, but I do see some talks among two of the groups that I'm dealing with online with our store, and they are saying that they're converting this to grid base using the cards. So if I get more information, I will post it on the website or email it to you guys. So Battlefront, definitely introducing helicopters. So we have some news, some photos on the website. Look it up if you guys like. If you want more information on this, or if you'd like me to do some box openings, leave a message below, and we will definitely get back to you with more information on that. So the next one, Maifaux. For those of you that are Maifaux players, our group has not got into Maifaux yet, but two of the groups I deal with are definitely into Maifaux. Maifaux is 3rd edition, while it was in closed beta, is now in open beta. So definitely something to look at. Maifaux, great skirmish game. Definitely a great skirmish game. What really sets it apart in my mind and the mind of most of the players and most of the general gaming community is the models. The models are fantastic. We sold quite a few boxes and individual pieces of Maifaux during the holiday season. While there are several factions of Maifaux and several models, this 3rd edition did have some contention going into it. A lot of hardcore players, a lot of longtime players were looking forward to some of the changes that are coming, and I'm unfamiliar with the rules, so I can't give you all the changes. You can get more information on our website, but the Maifaux did have some contention because there were players that are, it's sort of like the Games Workshop cycle. It goes for a while, then they update the editions, and you kind of start over. People are not looking forward to continuing into new editions and continuing to buy new rules. I understand that from a monetary, financial standpoint of the player, where they have a large investment into something and all of a sudden they've got to put more money in 3 or 5 years down the road. But I also understand from a gaming and game company standpoint, updating rules, putting out new editions is a better part of their profit line to keep them going and to keep the player base as a whole interested in the game. So I understand why we go through these different editions. So it's something to think about. But Maifaux, I would definitely check into it. On the open beta, it's my understanding that the way they put it, you can download the rules, you can look through the rules. So I would head to the Maifaux website and check that out. It maybe if you haven't been into Maifaux, it could be a time to get started. I know our individual playtest group, we've been looking at Maifaux for about 3-4 months now. We have not, we haven't shot that bullet yet to get into it. We're still discussing, but Weird, which is the company that makes it, also has a larger scale game called The Other Side. And we are leaning toward breaking into The Other Side, doing a couple videos, couple box openings with The Other Side. So either way, we're going to get Weird to the table. I did speak with them at PAX Unplugged, and it was very, very interesting. A lot of their plans for the year for third edition for 2019, for the other side, with more expansions coming for that game. So check out the Weird website and get some information. If you haven't tried either game, I suggest calling your local game stores and seeing if you can get a demo. See if they have access to their demo team. See if you can get a demo for the game. It may be something you like. I know a lot of the people that are not into playing heavy GW, this is the game of choice. So check out Maifaux. So that kind of takes our basic news down. I'm going to talk a little bit about Dust. Dust 1947, as you know, our group, our playtest group, while they play more than I do by far, we have been doing some Dust, and it's been fun. I have got maybe a game in the last month, but Dust is 1947 is definitely growing strong. Their release schedule for 2018 was very interesting, finishing the year with the Imperial Japanese Navy forces. And going into this year, their release schedule, in my opinion, is very aggressive. You see several units that are being reboxed, and several of the older units that are coming back, and some of the new units that are coming out for Imperial Japanese, for the Mythos. And this is not 100% guarantee, but as my understanding, we are going to see a new faction the end of winter. My understanding is we could see the Vril at PAX Unplugged 2019. I'm hoping that is definitely going to add to my into my factions. But so there is a good possibility we could see that. I don't have that as 100% down. First off, there was new releases right after the first of the year. The Falstrom, the Steel Guard, Headquarters, the Pounder Hot Dog, and the USMC Support Weapons were all box released. Definitely good releases for after the first of the year. There was a post in the official website for the NDAC Grenadiers, and the NDAC Grenadier Headquarters, the Headquarters box, and they have, besides the release of the coming release, this will be a March release of the NDAC Grenadier Headquarters, they are redoing a couple of the they're redoing one of the models, the Panzermeister, one of their cards, and they're updating the card with some new skills. Definitely looks fun. It's going to make him playable. I think he's been sitting on the sidelines. He's been benched a little too much, so it'll be fun to have him back. While we're talking about this release coming up, and you're noticing the heroes are in with the command squad. Not necessarily a new idea for them, but they are trying to lower the SKU amount. You got to understand, as a store owner, if you want to carry Dust and you look at all their models, a hero comes in an individual box. So you get a hero in an individual box. And so as a store owner, if I want to carry all of the SSU heroes, all of a sudden I've got multiple of these boxes, multiple things to order, where if all of the heroes for a faction, not necessarily for a block, but for a faction, are in one box, I've only got to order one. Now it's harder for players, you and I, if we already own a couple of these and we're going to order a box, we want one more hero that we're missing, and all of a sudden there's a box of 5, makes it tough. But this is a player game. You play with other members of, at the of your club, your friends, your family. You play at the local game store. Just remember, if you're going to buy a box and you only need 2 of the 3 heroes, or 1 of the 3 heroes, or 1 of the 5, or 2 of the 5, you can also talk to your friends, split the box. Maybe they don't have it. Maybe they don't have that faction. It's a good way for them to break into the faction. They will start buying more. Good for everybody. So something to think about. It's a plus win for everybody. And you have to constantly update this. You don't want to get the game stale, and we need to bring back new some of the older figures in new boxes for those of us that are new that haven't had a chance to get those. And there's a huge secondary market for Dust 1947. You've always got there's a buy sell group, the Facebook groups. You also have outlets such as eBay. You can find a lot of secondary models where you can either grab one, but more importantly, if you buy a box of Command Squad and the heroes, and you need the Command Squad and one hero, you don't need the other two, you can always get rid of them in the secondary market. So something to think about for you out there. Next, huge news this week for Dust 1947 players. DustGame.com has released a new Dustified unit. It is the Euphrates Crocodile, which is World War II British Churchill with a flamethrower. And my understanding is they're going to release an allied version, a mercenary version. Not sure of any others, but they're going to release some versions of this that are faction specific, and only those factions can take them. Secondly, I didn't look at the card for this yet, but the unit itself, my understanding is this could be, and I'm not positive of this could be a special vehicle. You might only be able to take one. I do remember the cost being very inexpensive. It's like a 10-point cost. For that unit, that's pretty good. It's tank 5. So if you're a Mythos player, go to dustgame.com, check out the new Mythos release. We're hoping at some point that we can get Dust USA into carrying maybe the conversion kits. I know it's tough. It's a lot of logistics for the companies to do this, and right now this is only coming off of the main site overseas. But either way, they encourage you to play how you want, so that's a good thing, and I think that's what's keeping the game for the old timers running, because they love building the models, they love converting, they love painting. If you go to the Facebook page, the Dustification Facebook page, it is a constant update of photos. You can also find that information for Dust on one word, Dust 1947 Depot, and that is a website. It's a newer website that we help sponsor, and it contains all the information for Dust. I will put the information below, and check out their website. If you're looking for information about Dust, they have a links page that is completely comprehensive. One of the best links page I've seen for Dust, as far as carrying all the information you might need for newer, older models. Rivals that of Dust War Journals, and their page is awesome. They have a great page. So check out that web, Dust 1947 Depot. So that's pretty much it for the Dust news. I do have some questions that came in the last week. I tried to answer individually questions that came in over the holidays, and questions that came in. First off, I was at a store, and so were my players for one of our groups, and they were playing Dust, and they asked about card covers, asking where we got the card covers, and these are the BCW card covers. You can ask your store to order these. They're just a regular hardcover, and besides colors, I'll try to pull out a couple individuals here. I happen to have some in my drawer. They're clear border, and they're hardcover, so they're very easy to use. You can write on these without worrying about your card. They're not thin like a regular card cover. They're harder cover. But what's really nice, and what everybody seems to like about them, is that there's colors. So here's a good example. This is red. So for a game like Dust, red, this could be your SSU cards. So you slide your SSU cards, and you can tell right away that they're red. They look nice. They're bordered. If you're playing Mercenaries, here's a green border. This is not something new. My previous business online that was out there for many years, 9 years, and even before that, we carried these for War Machine. So we had like green as the Mercenary, red as Kador, blue as Signar. We had white as Meneth. But these are BCW product. You can order them from BCW. You can also order from us, Gamechefs. We have these in stock. And last I know, we had all the colors in stock. At least I don't want to say a case of each, but a couple boxes of each. So we do have these in stock. Cards are easy to get. If you're dealing with your local game store, ask your local game store to order them. I'm sure they can get them from BCW. They're going to get their other supplies, such as comic book covers, sleeves, anything like that from them, so they can just make a special order for you. If you want to go online, we do carry them in our store, so feel free to order them from us. Or message me. You can email me or message me below. I'll get back to you and we can put together something for you, and definitely get some out. Check your local game store though. Definitely something to look at. Another question I got was about Keyforge. We're seeing some Keyforge decks that are going boxes, not decks. We're seeing some Keyforge boxes that prices are extremely high, and then we see some Keyforge boxes that are regular retail price. And as far as Keyforge goes, it's the pocket of where you live. The pockets are unique. There are some places that nobody has any Keyforge decks, and they're paying $15, $20 online for a deck. There are other areas like where I'm at. I'm below Toledo, Ohio by about 30 minutes. And in the area I live, I can find Keyforge decks in like Findlay, Ohio. I can find them by driving about, I don't know, an hour north, 45 minutes to an hour north into Michigan. There's a store up there I know has them. There is one store I heard that did have them in Toledo. And he was limiting because people are coming in and buying them out. But the news I want to talk about is on Keyforge is the cards themselves. There's two printings. There's a first printing and a second printing. And the company has declined to answer in the last 72 hours. They have not answered me back, and I really do understand why. But it has to do with this wording in the corner. And there's wording in the corner of this deck that says, contains one unique 37 card deck. So that's the wording in the corner. And if you're buying online, I'm going to use eBay for an example. All the eBay listings show this box. But when you receive the box, that's not the wording there, which means it's second printing. My understanding, I do not have company verification, my understanding is second printing has included the rules for, the algorithm rules for the naming of the decks. So your chances to get a deck with a inappropriate name is going to go down to pretty much zero on the second printing, while the first printing can still have some of those names that are a little bit more. You also have collectors that are looking for sealed, which I have one left in stock, sealed first edition decks because they want to hold them aside. They think they're going to be worth some money down the line. Since this is a Richard Garfield game, that is a possibility. When I talk to some other Magic the Gathering video enthusiasts and listen to what like Rudy has to say, they don't see any long-term effect for a game like this. They just don't think it's got any long-term potential as far as making money if you're looking for an investment. So either way, when you're buying these, if you want first edition, watch that number. So that, Rob, that should answer the question that you sent me. First printing, second printing. I do not have any word on what they're doing in 2019 as their plans going forward with Keyforge. No news yet. I'm going to guess we will hear something probably around the Gamma trade show. And I have not got any response from my email to Gamma at the present time either. So I had sent an email about a week or so ago. I had a question from them. Not on Keyforge, but I haven't got any mail. So I think after the first of the year, everybody's a little busy. I know we have been with getting our tax information together and trying to clean up from the holidays and get our inventory together. So that should answer your Keyforge questions. Let's see if I can straighten this up a little bit. Dust products. Real quick on Dust. Cards. It's my understanding the Axis cards are getting hard to find. I have a couple players that said they cannot find a box of the Axis cards. If you're in the United States, message Gregor at Dust or Alicia at Dust USA. Send an email, send a message, let them know you're looking for the Axis card box, and I'm sure if they're not in stock, he's going to tell you when they will be in stock. I did not send a message and ask that question, and I don't order directly from Dust. I use a couple other distributors, so I don't know. I do not have any in stock. I do have a Russian box in stock. That's it. SSU. I apologize. Games, real quick. Shadespire. Is my understanding if you have a copy of Shadespire and you're not playing the game, if you're not going to play, you're not playing the game, this is going up in value. Don't ask me if you're looking at games as an investment. My understanding these are going for about 75 plus a box right now. If they're new, they're going about 65 used. Night Vault, of course, was released. Shadespire's not around. Definitely a good game if you haven't played it. I would suggest doing it. As you can tell, our group has the game. Everything, the box isn't sealed, but everything I have seems to be sealed. But we also have the reason we took this apart. We wanted to paint the minis to play, so we were working on some mini painting here, and we've got all of our minis done and ready to play. I played them before they were painted against Blake, who I annihilated in 2 games, which was quite fun. But I don't look forward to playing him now. He's had some practice in, and nor do I look forward to playing Ian or anybody else, because they're probably going to kick my butt since I haven't played since August, I think it was. So Shadespire, if you got it, if you're looking for a good skirmish game, board style, actually this is not really as much a skirmish game. This would be considered a gateway game, and I will correct that. This is a gateway game, meaning that it's a board game using miniatures, whereas a skirmish game isn't necessarily a board game. It's how would I put this? Kill Team would be a skirmish game. Maifaux would be a skirmish game. Wild West Exodus would be a skirmish game. So if you want a good gateway game, I still consider skirmish style. This is definitely something to look into. Sales. I had some questions about sales. What was selling? I have several things they're selling. Anything with an Army Painter name on it just blew out of here at Christmas time. My number one game sale was not a new game. It was an old game. Quo Vadis. This is the Mayfair edition. I entered the holiday season with about 4 cases left of Quo Vadis. This edition, it doesn't sell for a ton of money, $10 on average. You can find them online for 25 plus. We were selling them at the holidays to thin our stock a little bit. We sold them at $6.95, $7.95, something like that. And they sold so well. I think I have maybe a box plus. I've left them at $7.95 on the store site. I left them at $7.95 on the eBay store site also. So we're thinning those down until we get down to maybe half a box, and then we'll kick them back up to a 10-15 level. Quo Vadis was definitely, as far as a game, as our best seller. Miniatures wise, we got our hands on lots of used, gently used, previously owned Dust miniatures. Some boxes were sealed, some were not. We got core sets. Trying to think what else we got. Some of the unit boxes. We've got several sealed boxes. We've got some boxes that were, or we got some units that were without boxes. I would say miniatures wise, Dust definitely did it. Probably sold in the neighborhood of 100, 120 plus sales of Dust items between, say, Thanksgiving and the end of the first week, because we have lots of sales after the first of the year. So in that time, from Thanksgiving till about January 10th, 100, probably 100 and plus sales. Definitely over 100 plus sales of dust items. And that's anything dust related. So that was definitely our huge winner. We pushed dust, as you can tell. We pushed dust quite a bit. I think it's a great game, and I spoke previously about it. So that was probably our number one there. Card game wise, Keyforge, of course. Keyforge was selling better than anything else. We do sell individual Magic cards, but we are not a Magic card dealer. So we don't. I mean, if I get cards, it's just because it's either in trades or I run across deals on boxes, and that's how we get Magic. So Magic cards were probably there, right up with Force of Will. We do carry Force of Will, not heavy. We get it, and either we hold it for a month before it sells out, or sometimes it sells out the first week. So we do get some Force of Will products. Force of Will sells really good, but the individual Magic cards did outdo those. As far as a new game goes, we didn't have anything new that stood out this year. There was nothing that everybody said, I've got to have this as far as a board game. There's nothing that extremely stood out in the board game category that people were just knocking the door down. Marvel Strike Team had a little bit of a run. I need to get another copy of that and take it to the group. So Marvel Strike Team had some push, but other than that, there wasn't anything board game related that anybody just hit on. I think with the upcoming Kickstarters coming out, we'll see a change in that in the first quarter, and I will keep you updated. That is pretty much it for what I have. Conversions. One conversion I will go to. Tank charts. There is a tank charts group. This is an old set of miniatures rules, and the tank charts Facebook group, and that they are redoing this. My understanding is someone is trying to, while it's a little bit of an open source right now, someone's trying to get their hands on and redo this into more of a tactical board game. If I hear who's up with this, I will keep you informed there. Other than that, I think that is it for our Gamechefs news. And again, we're at about 32 minutes, believe it or not, because I do not know when to shut up. So, with that in mind, I hope you guys had a good holiday season. We'll try to keep these videos coming. We're going to do some unboxing. Again, I got several good news about that. And last but not least, at the end here, if you guys like this video, but if you subscribe, for new subscribers, if you guys subscribe to the video, we're going to run a little contest in the next week, and we're going to give away a Quo Vadis game, brand new sealed. So hit subscribe. We will send a Quo Vadis game if you win right to your doorstep, so you can try it out or resell it yourself, whatever you'd like to do. Other than that, it's been great. I hope to see you guys across from the tabletop. Don't forget, subscribe. Take care.